I'm back with Abe Hamadeh, embodiment of the American dream, a former intelligence officer in the U.S. Army Reserve, former prosecutor of the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, now the GOP, the Republican candidate for Arizona Attorney General. Abe, it seems to me that that you represent and others represent the kind of multiracial face of the GOP, even though the left works really hard to somehow portray the Republican Party as a white party, a white supremacist party. Isn't it a reality that all over the place now we're seeing people from all different backgrounds all resonating with a message of upward mobility, law and order, and basic decency?
Yeah, you're right. I chuckle because the Arizona Republic, one of these so-called newspapers out here, they actually called me saying that I was promoting white supremacist views. This is what they think of us. But, you're right about this new movement. The Republican Party really stands for opportunity. And this is why you're seeing record number of Hispanics coming out to vote for Republicans right now. And this is just shocking Democrats. But, it makes sense because everybody wants safety on their streets. They want to have their children be able to walk, to school and back home without fear of criminals getting after them. So, what you're looking at right now is this idea of e pluribus unum, out of many one. I mean, that is our founding ethos, and something that I love about, the military, and I'm so proud of, having served. We wear the American flag on our right shoulder sleeve. And it doesn't matter what race you are, what religion you are, how much your status is in life. We're all in it together, and we're all equal under the law. But the Democrats are slowly, or actually quickly, eroding that concept. I mean, just think about the past few years. This is an acceleration that I've never seen before. So this is why it's so critical that we win this November.
Abe, usually when I look for candidates I like around the country, I find one guy over here and one guy over there and someone else over here. What's cool about Arizona is that you guys seem to have created a kind of a phalanx, right? You got Blake Masters in the Senate race, you've got Kari Lake in the gubernatorial race, you've got Fincham in Secretary of State, you've got you for Attorney General. I mean, if you guys do a sweep, it seems to me your Arizona will then be able to join Texas and Florida in leading the country at the state level. I mean, sometimes it seems to me that the national GOP is, if not asleep, half asleep. But there's a lot of innovative and bold stuff going on at the state level, and you're trying to do that in Arizona, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. We have a great slate of candidates right now. And, I credit President Trump. All of us were Trump endorsed candidates. But, Kari Lake and myself, we had a press conference last week. I don't know if you had a chance to see, but we received the endorsement of the police organizations out here. And the media was trying to come after us and trying to say, law enforcement, arbors racist views. And I mean, Kari Lake and I lit into them. And, the media at the end of it had their tails between their legs because, we push back against the narrative. We push back. We're not scared of the media. And that's what's so exciting. I think you're right. Arizona is going to be the leading example all across the country once we take off this next January.
Abe, talk about two critical issues which seem to me to be connected with each other. On the one hand, you've got the illegal immigration issue and the fact that Biden has shown this kind of flagrant disregard of the border. On the other hand, you've got the crime issue, but they're not two distinct issues, are they? Because the illegal issue contributes to the crime problem.
You're exactly right. And, when I was just down at the border in Yuma last week, these people are coming across the country. It's not like they're evading law enforcement. I mean, they're literally waiting for a bus to pick them up, and they know the process. They're not these poor illegal immigrants either. I mean, they have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 that they pay to the drug cartels to get them smuggled in. And I witnessed every single ethnicity represented down at the border. I mean, you had Indians, you had Russians, you had Chinese, you had Guatemalans. So it's absolutely frightening. And those ones, that's a distraction for the cartel's operations, who are also bringing the fentanyl and evading law enforcement with camouflage. So that's what's frightening. And that's why I've been calling upon, on day one when I take office, I'm going to work with Governor Kari Lake in the state legislature, but we're going to classify the drug cartels as terrorist organizations. And with that designation, we'll have enhanced sentencings on them, because under current Arizona law, we use the U.S. Department of State's definition of a terrorist. And, that's been politicized. I mean, the Yemen Houthi rebels who were firing missiles at me when I was in Saudi Arabia, they were delisted as terrorist organizations by the Biden administration. So Arizona knows who the threat is, and these are the narco terrorists. But you're right about how this is affecting our communities and crime. I mean, look at fentanyl. Now they're targeting fentanyl with school children with these candy colored, fentanyl pills. So this is what's absolutely frightening. So once we secure our border, our streets will become secure as well. So that's why it's my number one issue.
Abe, it's really a pleasure to have you. I mean, you have been really strong. I was delighted you've been recommending 2,000 Mules. You've been talking about the fact that across the board, you're going to be really tough. And I really wish you the best. By the way, your website, abe4ag.com, abe4ag.com. This is the way to find out more about Abe Hamadeh and to support him. Abe, thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks, Dinesh.